Someone paid over $1,500 for this gorgeous mirror behind me, and I found it at a thrift store for a tenth of that price, only $150. Hi, welcome to my apartment. Behind me is a modified Lululemon smart mirror. Mirror.
You're really into that mirror. Okay, I get it. I'm probably not as mesmerizing as you are. What's up, Mirror Master? What'd you tweak on me? Got any cool features up your sleeve?
Shawty just called me Mirror Master. That's crazy. A little bit of history about the Mirror Company. The Mirror Company was launched in 2018 by Bryn Putman. Her vision, as I understand it, was to create hardware that would enable virtual training sessions with real people on the mirror. The mirror is equipped with a camera, a microphone, and an ARM-based computer running Android. Upon acquiring the mirror, one of my first attempts at hacking it was to exploit its vulnerable web server running DNS mask 2.51. Apparently, this is a very special funny version. I learned enough to know that the exploit chain would be long and miserable, so I abandoned this path. This board has UART headers, which I was able to connect to this doohickey I found on eBay. I identified this board as a modified Inforce 6309 with an ARM 410 SoC. Luckily and unfortunately, the boot sequence for this chip had already been pawned by a much smarter and cooler Hector. His method requires equipment that I will never own, so I threw this out the window. At this point, I completely abandoned the idea of using the original computer because I ran into this video.
Back in 2020, I spent $1,500 on a smart mirror.
Why? A very generous lady on YouTube dropped the sauce on how to Shut the fuck up. A very generous lady on YouTube dropped the sauce on how to repurpose the display in the mirror with any computer. I immediately pivoted to copy this. Her build uses most of the original parts from the mirror, except the computer. This is the display driver module that I ordered off eBay for my mirror for my display. Your mileage may vary. This is the first laptop that I tried. It is from a Dell Latitude something from 2019. It only has one fan and a tiny little heatsink, so it overheats and it's very loud. I would not recommend it. The next thing I attempted was a motherboard from a Dell Precision 7540. This can hold double the RAM and it has a dedicated GPU and more cores and more everything. Unfortunately, I was not able to get this thing to run stably inside the mirror, and I broke one of the exhaust fans and I had to tape it together. Ew. But that's not the issue. The issue is that this is a laptop motherboard, and when you disembody it, the BIOS freaks out. Finally, I settled for an Intel NUC. This is what's left of it after ripping out the motherboard. This is another smart mirror.
No way.
This is not the same.
No
I can
way.
tell because it's thinner. There are cutouts for Wi-Fi antennas, which is very cool. There's also holes at the top to run cables. The entire backside and the stand can be detached from the mirror's frame. That means you can spray paint it. Lord, forgive my shitty camera work. I now had an Ubuntu machine inside my mirror. I will not go into implementation details on this video because it's fucking vibe coded.
Sometimes not fun to be anymore, right?
Fuck off. The first thing I did was install Cursor and give it a design spec for a single page web app that would display the weather. I then made this 24-hour temperature graph that looks like a stock chart. Both widgets use the same public weather API and are completely free to operate. The next gimmick I worked on was a photo gallery where you could upload pictures to the mirror from your phone. You can open the mirror's webpage on any device, but if you type /upload, you get this special page where you can upload a picture from your gallery or take one. Now it's on the mirror. I swear I have friends. Something I need to add immediately is a QR code on the mirror at all times, where I can scan it with my phone and get to that page immediately without having to type it or airdrop it to someone. Also, further work is needed to turn the upload page into a full-blown admin panel.
Let's talk about demons.
UX Play is an open source project that takes features from the Apple TV and ports it to mortal hardware like my mirror. That means I get to have an AirPlay receiver.
No way.
I can mirror my screen, look.
No way.
I got the AirPlay receiver working pretty quickly, so I got ambitious and I got a music visualizer. One thing that is not working properly and I have thought about removing is the progress bar. It just loads infinitely or it shows me the wrong point in the song.
It's fucking vibe coded.
Paused the music and it immediately went back to the gallery. And as soon as I play the music again, we get the visualizer. Isn't that cool? I am not an expert in Linux or Wi-Fi or digital signal processing or the AirPlay protocol, but thankfully I have a $200 AI subscription that was able to figure it out. Only God and the large language model knows how that mirror works.
Not me.
I had a motion detection daemon that worked with the Windows Hello camera that I taped to the top. It flashes the infrared light and it uses the infrared sensor in sync to detect differences in lighting every few seconds to determine whether or not a person is present. This was working flawlessly for a bit and then it just stopped working.
It's fucking vibe coded.
Voice recognition. I have an OpenAI stack for LLM, transcription, and text to speech. So when I speak, it transcribes my speech to text, and then that text goes to a language model, and then the response of that language model is fed back to a text to speech engine. This is a semi-working prototype. My goal is to make it at least as good and responsive as Siri. The next idea I had was Fade GPT, an AI barber, where I could walk up to the mirror, ask it to give me a fade, and then watch the fade come to life in front of me. I made a working prototype and then scrapped it because it was slow and unreliable.
Fucking vibe coded.
A 3D model of Cortana
Or Hatsune Miku or a comparable character.